losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab?
But to me, it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most trusted voice in true crime. Recently I've put up some of the coverage that you're seeing on YouTube, kind of an extension of that, a complementary coverage I guess, on Patreon, and we've sort of been discussing the issues of abuse. Is there clear evidence of abuse? Now, what's been a little bit of a breakthrough, I guess, is someone on the channel reached out to, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say the nature of the relationship, but somebody related to somebody who was also related to somebody else, informed us, I guess, that this person went to school with Letecia, and she was beaten up pretty badly and by a group of girls, and that Letecia apparently, according to this source, was one of the participants in the group. Now I'm not sure whether that means Letecia literally assaulted her, or whether she was just part of a group and that she was bullied by this group. That's not kind of specified, but it does sound like she was part of, I don't want to say a gang, but certainly a group of people, similar-minded people. And the incident is described as an assault that happened during the high school senior year. It didn't happen at the school, but it happened somewhere else. I don't know what the exact circumstances were. I will try to find out. At this point, it's just, I guess, speculation. What I'm trying to do is get the source to identify, I'm just going to say itself, because I don't want to say whether it's a he or a she, and sort of kind of come on the record. This kind of thing is typically a little bit a difficult decision to make, because you are revealing your identity and you can be harassed. So we'll see whether we can get something regarding that. But it seems to be quite a specific thing, especially because it's described as happening 2 days before prom. So that seems to be a very specific memory, doesn't it? So as I say, I will try to get further information and kind of confirmation from the person. I will try to get an audio clip of the person giving a first-hand account. That's really the best thing. And obviously when somebody speaks for themselves and they prepare to go on the record, that tends to be credible information. When it's something from someone third hand, it's not necessarily reliable. So I'm going to try and get confirmation on that. Something else that's probably worth mentioning is I've been doing a little bit of digging, and I think I've found some information, which is that, and if any of you out there have different information, you think what I'm saying is either wrong or inaccurate or vice or what's the word, instead it's actually correct, please let me know. It's just something that came up somewhere, that Letecia was actually married on the 17th of January 2015. So obviously the 17th of January this year would have been kind of a milestone, the 5-year anniversary of her marriage to Al, right? The 17th of January was a Friday in January, and I mean, ironically, today is the 17th as well. But the 17th was a Friday a couple of months ago, and Gannon literally disappeared 10 days later, 10 days after that date. Now, if we presume to get into Letecia's mind, one can kind of imagine you have this 5-year anniversary, and it's a moment to kind of take stock of what is going on. It's a moment to sort of look back on the 5 years that you've been married and say, how have things been, and what can one look forward to? And I guess one thing she was looking forward to was getting a job, starting the year and starting with a new job. And obviously things weren't going very well at all. We don't know what happened on that anniversary. We don't know if it was kind of a bummer. We don't know whether there was some kind of celebration. We don't know whether there was an argument. What we do know is, and this is an intertextual element, is in the Chris Watts case, on the 10-year anniversary of their, I think they call it a dating anniversary of their relationship. It was on the 10th of August 2018. That was their 10-year anniversary. Shanann kind of left. She flew to Arizona. So they didn't really celebrate it, and in fact the trip to North Carolina was kind of a disaster in terms of the whole Myrtle Beach thing, which was also kind of to celebrate their marriage, their relationship. So it was actually a disaster. The celebration of it was actually kind of a illustration or a demonstration of how bad things were, of how happy that things were. So one wonders whether something like that didn't happen in this case. Was the 17th a happy occasion, or was it the source of an argument? Was it actually an opportunity for realization? And we don't know whether it played a significant role, but it feels like it may have, especially because 10 days later you had this incident. So it may have been that you had quite a few things happening. We don't know what the Christmas was like that year. We don't know what the birthdays were like that month, the birthday. I think it was Lena's birthday that month. And then we don't know what that anniversary was like. We do know kind of what was going on in the couple of days before Gannon's disappearance, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday and the Monday. We know there was arguing, we know there was unhappiness. But one wonders if you go back a few more days, like a week earlier, what were things like? And bear in mind, you had this anniversary, and then exactly a week later, basically Al left for the weekend. He left for kind of his business trip, right? And you kind of had a similar situation in the Watts case, where you had a coming together, or how can I put it, a reunion in a way, and then basically a week after that the murders happened. So it's almost like this reunion kind of convinces you, wow, I'm really unhappy. I don't want this. This is supposed to be a fairy tale, but it's actually a nightmare. I don't want the nightmare to continue. I want my fairy tale. I want my fairy tale. So one wonders whether that was kind of a factor. Early feedback so far has largely been directly to me from my book, Boy Interrupted. I wish you guys would leave reviews so that I can show other people the reviews, but so far people have said they found the book a riveting read. There's a scenario presented in the final chapter, and it's just based on linking the evidence to Letecia's personality to some of the intertextual elements, and then saying, could this have happened? And I'd be interested to know what you guys think of it. I know some people have had other ideas, and then they've read it, and it seems like they think, wow, that does actually make some sense. So we'll see. It's always risky to kind of prognosticate ahead of time without the discovery, even before the trial. But that kind of is the challenge of true crime rocket science. Can you with limited amount of information, can you start figuring out who a person is? Can you start figuring out the criminal psychology, or can't you? And we can't do that when we just say, well, this is a psychopath or whatever, and I don't think she is. It's you can't do it when you don't have a handle on the person's identity. One thing that I have reconsidered a little bit is I do think rage played a greater factor than I previously thought, just because a crime where there's a lot of blood, I think that is representative. That large amount of blood, I think, speaks to a large amount of emotion. What kind of emotion are we talking about? I don't think it's just frustration. I think it's also, I think there is rage, and I think you had that in the Frazee case. If you compare all of that to Chris Watts, I think it was a different kind of fire that was going on with him, and it was not rage so much as frustration, but it was something that he was able to bottle up because of his personality, whereas Letecia, I don't think she was able to. So those are a couple of interesting things. The book Boy Interrupted is available on Amazon Kindle. The paperback will be available probably by tomorrow or the next day, so you can check it out periodically. The audiobook, the complete audiobook, is available on Patreon for $5, so it's actually cheaper listening to the audiobook than buying the book or buying the paperback. So consider the audiobook option on Patreon. You also get obviously other audiobooks on the same tier, so you have that advantage. I just wanted to also say thank you to the around about 500 new subscribers over the past couple of days. Welcome, good to have you here. On Patreon is a nifty analysis based on a UN report on a global study on homicide. Just some true crime rocket science analysis of what do the stats tell us about this particular crime. And then there's some interesting information, a little bit of background about a couple of other cases involving children dying as well, like John Benet Ramsey. That's part of that analysis. And then, just by the way, Letecia Stauch's divorce hearing was set for today. I don't know if it happened, but it was scheduled for today. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. If you're not a patron of mine of True Crime Rocket Science on Patreon, consider going there. I'll put a link to the article on those stats, and you can go and check that out if you like. And I will see you guys next time.